there's another strategy called File and Suspend. And this is a strategy where in the same scenario where the higher earning spouse was waiting until 70 to collect his or her own benefit, they were able to file for their benefit at age 66, presuming that was the full retirement benefit, but suspend it, then allowing their spouse to claim the full spousal benefit. So in case you're not aware, that the spousal benefit is equal to half of your spouse's benefit if your own benefit isn't equal to that amount.
Are you ready for a successful retirement? We're addressing the topics facing today's retirees. Welcome to Retire with Ryan. Now here's your host, Ryan Morrissey.
Welcome back. This is episode 105. This week, I'm going to talk about some closing Social Security loopholes. And specifically, if you were born before January 2nd, 1954, you have not started collecting Social Security, and you are either married or were married, then you'll want to pay close attention to this episode. So it's been 7 years since Congress passed the Budget Act of 2015. And this put forth a number of changes to Social Security. Specifically, this legislation was designed to disallow certain strategies that took advantage of spousal benefits that were not the way that these benefits were intended when the original legislation was passed. And this was to try to prevent working spouses from collecting spousal benefits when they had their own higher benefit. And I'll talk more about these specific strategies in a little bit. And as I was first getting into the business of being a financial planner, I began reading about different strategies that couples could use to allow one couple to delay their benefit and have the other couple collect, and then the spouse that was delaying to receive a spousal benefit. And this worked great for a lot of people, but more and more people began to find out about it. And the word got out about how you could do this. And this is what prompted Congress to pass this act in 2015. But I still get a number of questions about this, and there's still confusion about this. So I want to further clarify some of that confusion. So one question you might be wondering is, can I take advantage of this and receive a spousal benefit while I'm delaying my own benefit until age 70? And the way this would work is that, let's say we have a husband and wife. They each have their own Social Security benefit. Let's say the husband's Social Security benefit was $3,000 a month, and the wife's Social Security benefit was $1,500 a month. And the plan for the husband was for him to wait until age 70 to collect his benefit. But during that time frame of when he reaches full retirement, let's just say that is 66 and 6 months, until 70, he would want to actually be receiving some income if he could, rather than receiving nothing. So with this file and suspend strategy, in that scenario, the lower earning spouse, in this case his wife, could file for her benefit. Then he could actually collect half of her benefit while his own benefit was delaying. So if he was born before January 2nd, 1954, and his spouse had already started collecting her benefit, then he could file what is known as a restricted application, and he would then be entitled to receive half of his spouse's full retirement benefit. So using our example, let's just say her full retirement benefit is $1,500 a month, then he would receive half of that, $750 a month, for about 3.5 years until he reaches age 70. Now you're probably thinking, wow, why can't I take advantage of this? Well, there's a few different conditions that have to be in place for you to take advantage of this restricted application. The first being that you're born before January 2nd, 1954. So that eliminates a lot of people. However, there still are a number of people that haven't reached age 70. Because once everyone who's born before January 2nd, 1954 reaches age 70, then there will be no ability to continue taking advantage of this strategy. So if you start doing the math, that would put you at about age 68 or age 69. So if you're in that time frame, you haven't started collecting Social Security, you were planning to wait until 70, you're married or you're divorced, and your either spouse or ex-spouse is receiving benefits, then you could collect off of their benefit by filing a restricted application. And there's one other condition too, that you must not have previously filed for Social Security benefits. Now, let's just say you're finding out about this now and you could actually take advantage of this strategy. The only way you could refile is that if it's been less than 12 months since you filed, you could withdraw your application and you could repay all the benefits that you have received, and then you'd be free to refile under the restricted application. So you might be wondering, how do you take advantage of this? Well, you need to file what's known as a restricted application, and probably the easiest way to do that is to go online, ssa.gov, and from there you file for benefits. The only really tricky part is filing the restricted part, and Social Security doesn't ask you if you want to file a restricted application. Rather, at the bottom of page 15, the following question appears, and it asks, if you are eligible for both retirement benefits and spouse's benefits, do you want to delay receipt of retirement benefit? And on that question, you would click yes, and that is how you apply for a restricted benefit. They also ask for the effective date, and this would be the month when you become eligible for your benefit. This would be the month that you become eligible to collect this benefit. Now, if this applies to you, you're already going to be 68 years or older, so you've already reached your full retirement age. What would be most likely allowing you to collect this benefit would be that your spouse has now began receiving their own benefits. So whatever month they begin receiving benefits, if it was last month or the month before, that would be your effective month. Maybe it's next month. You can go back up to 6 months and receive a retroactive payment from Social Security. So if you did miss 6 months of payments that you could receive, you could ask for a retroactive payment. You can also apply for Social Security benefits 3 months early, so that if maybe you're becoming eligible for this in October, you could make October 1 your effective date. You might be wondering, is this the best strategy for you? Well, it's always a good idea to have an analysis done on your Social Security benefits, especially if you're married. I have some tools that I use, so feel free to reach out to me at retirewithryan.com if you are interested in a Social Security review. But chances are, if you are eligible for this strategy, it's going to make sense, because most likely you're doing the right thing by having the higher earning spouse delay their benefits until age 70. This is something I'm a big fan on. I've recorded some other podcasts on Social Security benefits. I'll put a link in the show notes to those episodes, or you could just search on your favorite podcast app under my podcast for Social Security and you'll find those. But this is free money to you if you are delaying your benefit until age 70. Unfortunately, for most of us, for the rest of us, this isn't a strategy that you're going to be able to pursue unless you were born before January 2nd, 1954. For the rest of us, there are other Social Security strategies that you can pursue. If you do take advantage of this, chances are you'll get a letter a few months after telling you that you could actually switch over to your own retirement benefit from Social Security. But obviously, this would defeat the purpose of doing this, because you're trying to build delayed credits in your benefit, but this is extra income that you could receive while you're receiving delayed credits. I mentioned before, this would also work too if you're divorced and you were married 10 years or longer, then you could take advantage of this as well. And you would just have to know if your ex-spouse was collecting their benefits, and you could reach out to Social Security Administration to find out, or if you're on good terms with your ex-spouse, you could reach out to them. Or if you've been divorced more than 2 years, your ex-spouse does not need to be receiving their Social Security benefit for you to be eligible to file this restricted application. But this would work the same way. You could delay your own benefit until age 70 if you're born before January 2nd, 1954, and your ex-spouse is collecting their benefit. You could receive half of their full retirement benefit while you delay your benefits. And you definitely want to get the word out about this. Still, a lot of people don't know about this strategy. If you have a friend or family member who you think this would apply to, definitely have them look into this or reach out to us if they're in need of some additional guidance regarding Social Security. I'll mention too that there's another strategy called File and Suspend. And this is a strategy where in the same scenario where the higher earning spouse was waiting until 70 to collect his or her own benefit, they were able to file for their benefit at age 66, presuming that was the full retirement benefit, but suspend it, then allowing their spouse to claim the full spousal benefit. So in case you're not aware that the spousal benefit is equal to half of your spouse's benefit if your own benefit isn't equal to that amount. So let's just say that we have one spouse who is working, the other spouse was taking care of the home, doesn't have a very long work record. And let's just say that their benefit is $500 a month, but the other spouse's benefit is $3,000 a month. Well, in that scenario, the lower earning spouse would be eligible to receive $1,500 a month. The caveat to that is to receive that full $1,500 a month, they have to be full retirement age, and their spouse, who they're collecting off of, also has to be receiving their benefit. And in the past, this ability to file and suspend existed, but unfortunately, this was also eliminated due to the 2015 Budget Reconciliation Act. So that strategy is no longer available. Now, Social Security does make mistakes, and they have been known to pay people money under this strategy, not realizing that they're not eligible for it. And eventually they will figure it out. And when they do, you'll have to pay back that money. You'll either have to pay it back in a lump sum, make a payment plan, or have your future benefits be restricted. So you might think that if you get this through, you've pulled one over on Social Security, but they will catch back up with you. One other thing I should mention is that I do get questions sometime about if you are able to file a restricted application or you filed one in the past, how do you then switch over to your own benefit at age 70 so that you can start collecting this higher amount? And what you actually have to do is file a new application for benefits with Social Security. The best way to do this is to go online, file the instructions for filing. It's very easy. It take about 15 to 20 minutes. And you probably should mention in the comments that you're currently receiving a spousal benefit and that you're switching over to your own benefit. It's not really necessary, but the only real difficulty is that once you start receiving a Social Security benefit of any kind, you no longer have access to your Social Security statement. So you're not going to know exactly the amount that you're going to receive until you get your benefit verification letter, and then you'll know how much you're going to receive. So I hope this helps clarify some of the existing Social Security loopholes that are out there, some of those that have been closed. And if you are interested in getting more help on Social Security, consider reaching out to me or checking out some of my other episodes on Social Security. Have a great week, and I look forward to talking to you next Wednesday. Take care.
You should consult a financial advisor familiar with your specific circumstances before you make any financial decisions. Nothing in this broadcast constitutes a solicitation for the sale or purchase of any securities. Any mention of rates of return are historical or hypothetical in nature and are not a guarantee of future returns. Ryan Morrissey, CFP, is an investment advisor representative of Morrissey Wealth Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor.